Hi there everyone, and this is the next stage of the Concorde mould construction set build. So where are we now? We're at section step 4, which is quite simple. Step 4 is just building the casings for the jets. So here you've just got a couple of just one single flat plate, which would be that one. If you'd watched the previous one, you'd have realised my lengthy deliberations about which of these plates should go in here, even though it does look like it's silver. I think I eventually concluded it was the white one. Okay, so these go on here. I have to actually say, so in the previous video I'd mentioned about how I was finding these screws a lot easier because they're larger than the traditional Meccano ones. And actually that's not true. I was looking at some of my older Meccano kits, and actually I would say they're pretty much the same. And also, in fact, all the pieces, as far as I can tell, are actually also compatible with the older 1970s. I was wondering whether or not they'd actually sort of retooled and these were metric, but no, they're exactly compatible with the old 1970s blue box. I don't have any of the newer ones that I think went with the metric threads. These especially these ones, but since Meccano's been bought by Erector. But right, this is just having a little bit of trouble because I have problems with my fingers. Oops. Oh, a bit marked there on that one. Never mind. So that goes on there. And then you've got these plates here. I think those go. Those go on there. What's actually? I think I'll probably better put these engines on first, because I think that's going to be then a little bit trickier. So pop those on. On there, do the other one. I'm guessing it's oh, have I lost a plate? No, it's there. My rhymes about. Put these on. Yes, as I said, I compared especially the bent plates there, I compared them to my Meccano blue box sets, which I've got, and yeah, they were spot on. Oh yeah, this goes on the outer side. So probably just a little bit tricky for me because I can't really feel what's happening with my fingers. Oops, but that seems all right. The threads, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I think these screws are a touch bigger. These nuts and bolts are a touch bigger, but only a touch, I would say. But I'm pretty sure that they are metric thread, not the Meccano thread. And from what I gather, Meccano actually use their own particular thread. I don't know if that's true. I thought that's what I'd read. So it's not as even if it's Meccano had some type of standard and used something off the shelf. In fact, there's a fantastic video on YouTube about how in the 19th century whilst you had Whitworth of the UK who tried to come up with a standardisation of threads, the UK UK companies wouldn't adopt it because every company had their own sort of like threads, and nobody wanted to adopt a standard because they felt that would keep, give the other guys competition, and yet the Americans did. And so, and of course, eventually, they reaped the benefits. But since Meccano is dating back from really 1901, it's not a surprise that if they did use a custom thread, that was probably quite typical in those days. I'm just waffling on while I'm trying to do this. Get this nice and tight. Right, so that's one jet. Oh, anyway, I'll tighten that up when I come to assemble it. I have actually done the other one, and I've actually mounted it on my wing. I couldn't wait. So the next step here then is to build the other wing. So let's have a quick look in the box. Drag out all these parts, on the nuts and bolts, and let's see what we need. We've got a big plate. I think we need 2 of these. We need 2 of the curved ones. Smaller strip and a plate like that. Only left over these 2 big strips. I wonder where those go. Those 2 big ones. Let's see. Right, so let's start off. So again, I always struggled with so I've got one wing here, and I'd already made, because I got too carried away. So that's how I did that. So that would have been like that. Plate on top. Get some nuts and bolts out. I did actually also see that in the 1990s or something, after Meccano had closed down in the UK, I think may have been when it was owned by the French Meccano, that they also did a Concorde. So I have seen that on eBay actually, but some slight temptation to, oh no, I would have needed, I need to put my plate on as well. That's not very good, chatting away too much. Yeah, they had they also did a Concorde, which I guess this is probably slightly based on, but it's not exactly the same, that's for sure. I did have a look at that. I don't think you can get that as a new kit anymore. I think it's just, you'd have to just get that on eBay. I'm just putting these together quite quickly. Does it go like that? Yes, yes, it does. Okay, so yeah, they do have a bolt. 1, 2, 3 down. Good, it's more secure. that's it. Actually, I have to say that how they did that wing, it really does look like, you know, if somebody showed me just that wing, I'd say that's a Concorde. That's the shape of a Concorde wing. So they have done quite well there. Okay, we got metal plate. Oh no. Ah yes, got to get it right, because you do have to have some adjustment. Right. The original, so I'm following the model, I'm following the instructions here. You need to have that there, and then you put on the thing that looks like it goes, and how did I do that? And it goes, did I? Yep. I did that. Oops, pink in so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, and then you get the smaller sheet. That goes like that, and then goes across, and then you start getting more rigidity. Ooh. As you can see, I do struggle a bit, like trying to do something with fingers that have just come out of the freezer, because they're not cold, but they've got no feeling at all, which is a little bit tricky, but it's why I've got the kit, because it's you've just got to learn. I'm not so sure. Some people say neuropathy will go away. I've had it for a few months and I've not really felt it going away, but maybe I'm just too impatient, as people say. Right, oops. Oh, I'm looking for another plate. Ah, right, yes. It was in the small pack. That's right. There's 2 plates. I need one like that and one like that. And this one goes like that. Alright, yeah. So I just need 2. Oops. I'm just putting this really together just to show the steps. Now, I did spend a lot more time on this one, so that's why I keep referring to it. And again, I'm pretty sure. Ooh, oh right, I think. I don't know why I think this, but I'm going to try and keep them the same. But I think it's actually more like this. Oh. I'm looking at that one, it's like this. I think that's just because it gives you more room, room for manoeuvre. Keep moving my hands away from the camera. Okay. No washers, I'm afraid. I would say that in some of these washers would I think have been useful, but yeah, that's just a small point. Maybe in the more modern Meccano's they also don't have washers. And the nuts and bolts are slightly bigger because they do fit like a little bit tighter in. Alright, and then where is my final plate? Oh, here it is. And I had that like that. Just get that in there, as we see. And that, I think, again, trying to follow the pictures, it's a little bit difficult. And I actually think there's a better position for this. But it would mean putting an extra nut and bolt in. And also I'll do that at the end, see if I've got any spare nuts and bolts. Right, so there's me two wings. Probably just needs a little bit of adjusting, and I'll certainly do some more tightening up. This will get fitted, screwed in onto there, and then we will move. So when we've got those two pieces, we then move to put those there. There's one. There's the other one. We've completed 7 and 8, and 9 is putting the fuselage on. And this is where I've actually said that actually I'm going to have to do a bit of extra plate building. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend all the pieces all together. So instead of sort of like doing a few and trying, I'm going to get these and I'm going to create complete bend all of them, and also I'm going to have to dismantle this one and rebend it as well, so that I can get something, them all like this, so that I can get a really nice tube with a fuselage. And well, just as we're here, we might as well just put the engine on, actually. So it's C20. So I think the C20s are these screws. Oops. 1, 2. Pretty sure these are the C20s. And basically what it is, they go in at the top. Oh, you can see the difference I've made there. So that plate actually should have been on top of there. Right, okay, I think I'm going to, let me just check the model image. Oh no, if you actually look, in fact if you actually look, I've got it wrong on both of them, so I'm going to have to change that. So that's going to have to come over, and that's going to have to come over on that one. Well, I'm going to do that and then offline, but basically what you do is you screw these on, and you screw them on, you fit them on there, and you've got your jets. But yeah, looks like I've got some corrections to make looking at the picture. Okay, so I'll do that, and then we'll meet up again, and I'll have fixed the wings, and I'll have bended these plates for the fuselage, and then we'll move on to point 9, which is connecting the bottom fuselage to the wings. Okay, until then, goodbye.